Okay. Yes. So, sorry, guys. I'm very sorry for starting late. Uh, yes, like we we agree already. The topic for today is cybersecurity and business continuity management. Then I just this is a few certification I have currently on cybersecurity, senior lead cybersecurity manager, and certified computer security plus. I want to actually talk about information security and cyber security. These are two common words that are used interchangeably, but they have few differences between the two of them. Information security actually deal with everything, and it encompasses paper, document, digital, intellectual property in people's mind, and verbal and visual communication. While cyber security is basically about securing the data in the cloud. Let me just put it that way. It has to do with interconnected. So if it is not connected together in the network or something, whether in the cloud or in the on premise, it is not cyber security. But information security is all about everything, including the paper work, the intellectual property of an organization, the visual communication, and what have you. Now, I want to talk about cyberspace and landscape. And cyberspace and its underlying infrastructure are vulnerable to a wide range of risk. And this is together with physical and the cyber threat and other sophisticated cyber actor like nation, like the case we have of the election in the United States and Russia. So there are a lot of things that has to do that the cyber attacks are common to can be a kind of compromises. It could be as a result of it could be a banking or financial fraud. That is the most common one we have in Nigeria, that is commonly called Yahoo Yahoo. And we have intellectual property violation, theft of personal information, like somebody can steal your credit card information, or providing information, denial of service, and ransomware, which is very common. And this is what we actually is common in the world today. Now, moving on, we have cyber threat scenarios. What are cyber threat scenarios? We have high user knowledge of IT systems, and these are common scenarios that I just put together. We have systems.
Hello, Joe.
Are we still there?
Hello, Joe.
Oh, God.
Another nation. So also we have some.
Okay, it's back.
Okay, yeah.
We have some cyber. We have world biggest cyber that sent country into disaster. There was a ransomware attack on a particular state in the United States recently this year, and the whole data of a local government was actually encrypted, and they have to pay to get their data back. Ransomware will actually request for a ransom, just like we have kidnappers in Nigeria that we kidnap and ask for money. Challenges with securing cyberspace. There are a lot of challenges in securing the cyberspace. The ability of malicious actors to operate from anywhere in the world. The more connected we are, the more we are exposed to the risk of cyber attack. The more there is a saying that information made digital is information hackable. Whatever we put in the cloud or in our systems on our phone is made available, and there is a rule in the cyberspace, which says that if you don't want it public, don't post it. So numerous leakages between cyberspace and physical system, and the difficulty of reducing vulnerability and consequences in complex cyber network. It has been predicted that the world is going to face a cyber terrorism from the common terrorism that we have now, and we're already experiencing that because everything is moving to the cloud. A lot of investment are going on in the cloud. Every system is moving to the cloud. The world is now more connected than we are like 10, 20, 50 years ago. So cloud data lifestyle, data is created in the cloud now from users to another. There are a lot of remote network. Nobody wants to do on-premise host, and that has also put the world into risk. Now there is something we call CIA triad. It's not like the CIA of United States of America, but this is for cyber security, and it's targeted on three things. And this is C is for confidentiality, I is for integrity, and A is for availability. I will just explain this in brief. Confidentiality means that confidentiality prevents unauthorized disclosure of information. In any cybersecurity management or design, these three items need to be in the mind of every managers and the user. That data needs to be confidential, whether in transit or at rest. And also the integrity of data needs to be maintained. That is, data integrity assure that data cannot be modified in an unauthorized manner. The system needs to be put in place in every organization to ensure that unauthorized person cannot just go into the system and modify information or system, or maybe the configuration of system servers or network devices to their own advantage. Then availability, information should be readily available to authorized users. So that's CIA triad, and the information that we are either at rest or in transit, it has to comply with these three information. Now, I want to talk about the NIST cybersecurity framework. This is the framework that is being used worldwide. Is developed by United States. That is National Information Security Technology. So the framework is actually for organization, just like for project managers. There are processes, there are knowledge area, there are process group. But this framework is developed by this organization. United States is a government-owned organization. And the framework is really designed for cybersecurity managers and information security managers to implement in their organization. And it's basically just 5 of it. And it actually has to do with identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. I will just explain this in brief. Identify means that the first step for cybersecurity management design for any cybersecurity program is to identify what is your asset, what is your business environment, what is your governance, what is your risk, and have you done? You have to do a risk assessment of the organization. The governance is about, okay, what is obtainable in your country. For example, Nigeria has a law that banks, financial institutions should not host their data in any other country outside Nigeria. Before, there are a lot of banks, which I know, like GT and some other banks, that host with some companies in UK, and they host their DR site for business continuity outside the country. But there is a governance, there is a law in Nigeria by CBN that no financial institution should host, whether they are primary or secondary data center, outside Nigeria. So that is to, first of all, identify what is the governance issue, what is the environment saying, what is our asset, what do we want to protect? Because you cannot protect anything that you cannot identify. And in identification, you will know the resources to put in place that will secure what you want to protect. That means you don't spend much in protecting little and spend little in protecting a big data. For example, if a bank cannot spend huge amount of money in protecting maybe writing materials in the office, whereby they spend less in protecting their data. So after identifying that, you need to design a protect. This is awareness control. You have to train users, you have to train your staff, you have to put security in place. In cybersecurity, it has been identified and proven that human beings, which is people, is the weakest point of any cybersecurity program. So we need to do a lot of awareness, we need to do a lot of training, and information protect, and we have to do a lot of, we have to put in place maintenance procedures, proactive technology. What happens if the data center goes down? What happens if hacker hack our system and they have us to pay? Do we have a backup? Can we let go of that? Then we have to detect. Detect is we have to put security. We have to monitor what we have put in place, the system we have put in place. We have to test them. Then we have to do response, mitigation. What are the things that we put in place that we want to respond? How do we respond in case of emergency? If an attacker attacks this system, what do we do? What are the incident management systems that have been put in place by the organization to ensure that, okay, if a staff discover a phishing mail, how does the staff respond? How does the staff escalate to the support unit? You have to create a desk for cybersecurity issues to be reported by people. And how do we recover? Recover is the last stage of the framework, which has to do with planning, improvement, communication to users and everyone in the business. Now, the risk assessment processes, it has to do with the asset categorization, classification, threat identification. What are the vulnerability in the system? What are the controls we need to put in place? What are the likelihood? What the risk we tell us, okay, what are the likelihood? What will happen? Then we have to document our results. We have to put our control, our risk, and do an impact analysis of, okay, where are we? What do we want to achieve? So I will talk about information security, the key concept. The key concept of every information security and cybersecurity design goes around these 5 area, which is confidentiality, integrity, availability, auditability, and identification. I'll just use an example. For example, in every organization, there is where you have to design a system. Your system needs to be in such a way that is confidential. What we mean by confidential is prevention of unintended disclosure. Your servers, your data center needs to be secured with your offices and other people handle printers. Even it starts as simple as, okay, people leaving printers, documents on printer, and anybody can pick it up on the printer. Integrity, assuring that data have not been subjected to authorized or unauthorized modification. Nobody can just go into the system and modify, change configuration. What are these access control lists that have been put in place? Who does what? Like I have a case of someone in an organization. It happens I have several cases of it, of someone who is only responsible for router configuration and everything. There's even a case that happened in Benue, Minister of Agriculture, Benue State, I think 2 years ago. Someone was the guy managing all their database of their student portal. Nobody knows anything. There was no documentation. There was no documentation of everything that he's doing. And unfortunately for them, this guy died, and they have to call all the students who have graduated for like 7 years or 6 years thereabout to come back to the school to do documentation. That is how bad it could be when there is no control in play. When somebody, you only have one point of failure and the system is designed around that person. Availability, accessible and usable when required. What are the systems put in place to ensure that this is available, data is available. Auditability. When someone do something on your network, on your router, on your switches, on your wireless system, on your LAN, can it be audited on your server? If action is somebody, can we trace? Okay, this one was done by this person, by Ojo was the one that changed the configuration. Every system needs to be able to be auditable, and we have identification. Identification is everybody. If a system is designed and it's not tied to person, everybody comes to the system and everybody's an administrator. Everybody logs to their PC. They are all administrators. They can do whatever they like. They can install whatever they want to install. The best practice is that there must be an Active Directory that everybody logs into. And when you log into the system, you are being identified. And every system in the organization, the HR system, the payroll system, everything is tied into the Active Directory. So in that case, we can identify. Then we have authentication. Authentication is okay, before you can access any resources on the network, on the LAN, you must be able to have your username and password. So the system authenticates you. Then we can also go further by authorization. What are the systems that we put in place? Now everybody is doing what we call multi-factor authorization. Multi-factor, even some of us that have Google will tell you that, okay, you do multi-factor. Even now smartphone has gone into that level. You have to register your face, you have to register your fingerprint, you have to put password on your phone. So what is allowed when access has been granted? So everybody, there must be a division of labor to be able to achieve a successful cybersecurity system. Not that somebody is doing everything. There must be a control. If somebody put a data for financial information in finance department, somebody must be a reviewer who will review what the inputter has put. And somebody must be an approver. And an approver could have stages, stage 1, stage 2, and a final approval before payment is done. But if somebody can do all of that from inputting data to approval, that is disastrous. And no remediation, there are situations whereby someone can do something and deny, oh, I'm not the one that deleted it. So the cybersecurity recommendation design is that no information can be deleted. And even if you delete it, you can still verify who actually deleted it. And layer security, there must be a layer security defense index so that compromise is contained. So there must be a layer of security. Somebody cannot be doing everything. Somebody can just go to the system and reset everybody's password, and no approval is given. He can do whatever he likes. Even he can decide to delete somebody's account and Active Directory account. Also, we have access control. There must be access control, like cameras, like card readers, and thumbprint card readers, and PV cards everywhere before you can access information. Security matrix and monitoring must also be put in place. And also, we must also identify the risk. What are the risks involved? What are the vulnerability of our system? What are the threats that we need to identify? Then we have to assess the exposure. What are the exposure? Then we have to identify vulnerability, threats, residual risk, the risk that we discover, oh, this risk, we cannot do away without it. Risk remaining after we have done all possible best to protect our system. But this one, we cannot do away with it. So we have to manage them. We have to identify those residual risks and also see how we can manage them. So some risks can also be transferred. Some risks can be transferred, like people are going to the cloud now, where some people that Office 365 system organization instead of hosting your Exchange server on the premise, and you have to provide power, security, you send it to Microsoft, or you subscribe to G Suite by Google. And also, if you don't have the what to manage, you can subscribe to AWS. That is Amazon Web Service, where you can host your database, your server, and you transfer this to them to manage for you. And the criticality of the system, sensitivity of the system, what are the controls in place, what are the countermeasures we have put in place. We have to also have policy that define what actually, who does what are the rules of the organization. Information security is very key. In our onboarding system, in our organization, the first thing that staff need to do in this age of digital age is that in our onboarding system, information security policy must be handed over to every new staff that join the system so that they will know these are the do's and don'ts of what you don't do. Then we have to classify our data. What are the data that we need to protect? What do we need to spend on this data to ensure that we maximize our resources? Now, building organization cyber resilience through information security management system. These are the this is very common, and this is plan, act, check, do, and plan, act, check, and do. So, what do we want to plan? What are the things we want to plan? Ensure that the context and the scope of cyber security or ISMS, information system management, security management system, is correct and appropriate. Then we need to implement it. We need to do what we promise that we want to do. We need to implement the process. We also need to update, act. We need to update our information system, and also identify the lesson learned. And also, we need to check. Check is control. Just like somebody that you lock your car. Sometimes we usually put the door to ensure that actually the security is working. I think virtually every one of us will do this every day. Now, when you lock your car with security, you have to put the door and let me check whether everything is fine. So these are the things that we need to do to ensure that. Now, briefly, I will talk about information security management system. There are processes. This is what is recommended approach to implementing information security management system, and the standard for it, according to the ISO, is ISO 27001. So, and it's encouraged that its user emphasize on the importance of understanding organization information security, the requirements, the policy, there must be a policy. They implement operating control to manage organization information security and risk. There must be a controls in place. Then we need to monitor what we have put in place. What have we done? We need to review performance. Are the system working? Just like the way we do fire drill in our office, we need to test our cyber security. That's what some people call penetration test, pen test. We do penetration test to invite external person, or maybe what we call white hackers, to test the system, to test the control. Are they actually in place? Are they there to protect our systems? In the control that we put in place, are they working? So all this needs to be done as recommended by ISO 27001. So what are the benefits of implementing ISO 27001? This is a recommended ISO, and I know every organization in Nigeria that mean business have already got certification for this, and it's recommended. I think for bank, they don't have choice. All of them have gotten this. So 27001 is sensitive and confidential information are being given away or leaked. So personally identify. These are the benefits. When you implement this kind of control, the ISO 27001 in your organization, you have all these are the policy that you need to put in place. These are like what we call control domains. These are the control domains. Maybe something we call knowledge area in project management. So these are the knowledge area or the control domains that the ISO 27001 recommended for every organization that want to operate in this cyber world. Then the first thing is that you have to do security policy, you have to manage your security policy, you have to put that in place, you have to do corporate security management. Everybody needs to be involved. There must be physical security. It's not about network, it's not about putting, you can invest so much in your network, having sophisticated switches, configure your router, have firewalls everywhere. Do you have physical security? Does your data center has controls? Does he have card reader? Does he have fingerprints? Do you have cameras in your offices? Do you have controls in your office? How does people access your data center? Then we have cryptography policy management. We have supplier relationship management. Suppliers, because business has gone beyond the internal staff. Cyber security is not about your staff alone. It also involve the people you do business with, your supplier, your vendors, then every stakeholders must be carried along. Because if you give somebody an award, so there's a case in Akure in 2006 that happened in the High Court in Akure, and what happened was that time they don't have an IT person in the Ministry of Justice that actually repair system for them or manage their computer. So whenever somebody whenever they have an issue with system, they were using desktop, the vendor will come around and pick the desktop itself, and take it to his workshop to fix it. So this man, what he does is that there was an issue as a case. And on the computer, they have what they call pay order, and usually is being signed by the chief judge of the High Court. And whenever they take it to court, to bank, that payment can be made straight away. And this man, he will go into their system. The system are free for him. He can copy the data out, format the system, and reload back the OS and put back the files. And this is how he got this payment order. He used that payment order to make a lot of withdrawal, a lot of payment into his account before he was caught. So supplier relationship management needs to be put in place to ensure that every stakeholder is involved in your cybersecurity design. Then security incident management. You need to, how do we manage the incident? If something happens, how do we manage? There was a time that a bank, one of the top banks, I think was one of the top banks in Nigeria, has a data center was caught into fire, but they were able to restore back within minutes, not even up to 1 hour. So because they have a DR site that is operational and their data is syncing automatically, not that they will go and upload in the evening. So there must be a personnel security management. The personnel must be put in place. People need to be educated. What do you educate your staff? Do you conduct cyber awareness, information security awareness to your staff? There must be system security management, security compliance management, information security management needs to be put in place. Then we have, I just talked about briefly on just a little about business continuity. Business continuity also is around plan, do, check, and act, which also has to do, because every business can be just like the way we don't plan for disaster, but we don't pray for disaster, but we need to plan for disaster. Disaster can happen anytime, just like flood. We have had disaster like flood, hurricane, and what have you that happen. Fire incident can happen. There must be a business continuity plan in place for every business. Even personally, like some of us as an individual, we need to have backups of everything. Like I told my wife, I said, but if you give me a document today, if I have an ID card, if I collect my driver license today, I scan a copy into my mail. If I collect my international passport, if I renew it, I scan a copy into my mail. Because anything can happen to the physical one, then business needs to continue. And the same thing applies to business, and you have to apply to us as an individual. You have a picture, you have a certificate that you are issued. The first thing is to have a soft copy and also put it in the cloud. You can attach it into your mail as an attachment. You can put it in your drive, in your cloud drive, and you can even, instead of buying, I tell people instead of buying physical hard drive, you can subscribe and buy, maybe get some space from Google Drive or OneDrive. Google actually have issue with Nigeria Archive, so they will not accept it, but you can subscribe it, buying with using your Nigeria card with OneDrive. So there must be a plan. There must be a plan to initiate the business continuity management system, understand the organization, analyzing the existing system, leadership, and the project approval. There must be a scope. There must be business continuity policy. We need to do impact analysis. Where are we now? Where do we want to go? What do we want to achieve? We need to do impact analysis and also do a risk analysis. We need to do strategies that is the do, organization structure, document management, protection and mitigation, business continuity management, communication. We need to train our staff how to do backup of their system in case anything goes down, in case the system goes down. Some organizations now are moving from the physical drive into the cloud drive, whether through Google or Microsoft or through AWS, that is Amazon Web Service. So we need to monitor what we have done. We need to do a check. We need to monitor. We need to measure the control. We need to analyze. We need to check, is the control is the business working? Can we, sometimes we need to shut down the primary and ensure that the secondary data center can be rolled over to, and how long will it take for us to move from the primary in case the primary goes down, that we can move to the secondary. That is, we need to do that. That's the way we do what we call fire drill in our office to ensure that, okay, in case of fire incident, how do staff respond? What do they do? Personnel respond. We need to do that. We need to act. We need to treat. We need to ensure that there must be a continual improvement. Nothing is perfect. We need to ensure that, okay, whatever we put in place, we need to continue doing that. So this is basically what I have for today, and I just put some references like the NIST cybersecurity framework I talked about can be found on this website. I also got this website from European Union Agency for Network and Information Security. ISACA too is very good. ITU, China Telecommunication Union, also good. ISO has there are some materials that are very, very, very useful on ISO. Some standards are there that for business continuity, ISO 22301. Then we have ISO 27001 for information ISMS, and we have ISO 27000 series, which are for cybersecurity, information security. And when you can go through all these on their sites, there are some documents there that are free. Some you need to buy on ISO site, but they are very useful. Thank you very much for listening.
Well, thank you very, very much, Ojo.
Thank you.
But this is really, really detailed and wow, it's mind blowing. Thank you very, very much.
Welcome, sir.
Okay, so I don't know if you have anybody have any question. We have like 5 minutes to go. But this is really, really wow. Thank you very much. Any question?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Okay. Yeah. Please, let me just know if you have any questions so that I can turn on the question and answer session so we can have a very smooth conversation there. Okay, Kemi, I think you can go on. Yeah, please.
Okay. I want to relate it to our phones. I don't know if I can bring that in now. Mr. Ojo, can I ask concerning phones?
Yes, go ahead, ma. You can do that.
Okay. Because these days it's happening so often that you see numbers being hacked. You just receive a message from a friend that there's a platform to double, triple your money and all that. Now you now be wondering what's happening to this friend of mine. And by the time you call the person, you hear my line was hacked. So what's happening? How come mobile lines are being hacked? And what are the security measures we can put in place? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can I respond to that, or we take all the questions? Benga, over to you.
Yeah, okay. I think Ms. Mary wants to ask one more question, right? Let's just take that to then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ojo. This is a very comprehensive presentation. I think it's what. Yeah. First, I want to ask regarding the documentation, security documentation. Yeah, that's something that I think that a lot of organizations, as a matter of fact, we don't even do it in my own organization also, and it's something that I would love to champion. So I would like you to advise on how I can best go about this, and who are the key players that I need to also involve in this drive.
Hello, Ojo.
Hello. Yes. I didn't get the question from Larry very well.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Before you ask the question again, but before that, can you stop sharing screen?
Okay. All right.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Mary, I think you can go on.
Hello, Mr. Ojo, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, please go on. Mr. Larry, we can hear you.
Okay, good. So what I was saying is, I like the aspects of security documentation, and I would like to know how best to go about it in my organization, and who are the key players that I need to involve in achieving that. I don't know if you get
Okay.
that.
Yes. I got it now. Thank you. So, Benga, can I respond to the question now? Hello? Hello?
Okay, please.
Hello.
Go ahead and respond to the question.
You can respond to the question.
Okay. Yes, the first one by Kemi. The issue, the most common incident we have in Nigeria as far as cybersecurity the threat is concerned, actually what is referred to as Yahoo, whereby people can hack into people's phone, and they can also they can hack into someone. It's very common with WhatsApp, and that is why you must activate what is called multi-factor on your WhatsApp. On your WhatsApp, you shouldn't leave it open. You have to go to your settings and enable multi-factor on your account and privacy. That is what we call two-step verification. So you need to enable that features on your phone, because the easiest way to actually hack people's number is one, through that WhatsApp. Somebody can hack into your, can use your number as WhatsApp, and there are a lot of cases like that I've heard from friends and staff in the office, whereby somebody will use their phone and they will now call that number and say, "Oh, did you receive a phone number that a code on your phone?" They will say yes, because WhatsApp will always verify every phone number, and when they get that, they can always get the SMS. When they get the code, they configure it on their phone, or maybe, and sometimes somebody can also scan your WhatsApp to use it as a WhatsApp on a PC, and whatever messages you are having on your phone is also on that person's system. So the first thing to do is to ensure that you have a two-factor verification on your WhatsApp. You enable it and you put your password, you create your PIN, and you enable that feature, and you put your email, so that in case somebody wants to use your WhatsApp or any device, the person will be asked to put PIN that already, which is actually a 6-digit PIN. So that needs to be done because we shouldn't take things for granted. People these days, as we are thinking, that the criminals too, the cyber criminals too, are thinking. When you have a control in place, people are thinking of, okay, how do we ensure that this control, we bypass it in the system, whether in the office or as individual. So sometimes people get people, and also another issue that usually happens is when somebody, if you use a number, which we need to advise our friends, our staff, when you have a number that you have registered maybe with your bank account or bank details, or maybe at the end of the day you misplace the number gets lost, or maybe somebody steal the phone, and you go to all the service provider, they will tell you go and bring a cost affidavit before you can get your number back. Go and bring a SIM pack, and the SIM, maybe the line was bought 10 years ago. You don't even know where the SIM pack is, and you have to go to and do police report. So many people that are going through that stress, what they do usually, they just go, let me just buy another line. They buy another line, forgetting that that line they refuse to do welcome back for, are be registered with their bank, and somebody else, like some people of them, like Nine Mobile, for example, after 3 months that you don't use your line, the line can be allocated to someone else. I think the one that has that can exercise patience most is the Airtel. Airtel can wait for like 6 months before your number is allocated for somebody else. So if you are using a Nine Mobile line, and after 3 months it's given to somebody, the person, all your credit alerts, debit alerts in the bank can be routed, going to be routing or going to that individual's number, and such person, and when you get new line, sometimes people will not be, you have to tell your friends, and not everybody, and some people have already done a backup on their SIM. So when a new person buys the line, all the contacts also come with the SIM card, and because the telco also, they don't take note of those stuff. So these are the things that sometimes people can do that, and sometimes somebody can clone somebody's number, and this also are the thing that happens in Nigeria and what we refer to as Yahoo. So those are the measures we can put in place to educate our friends and family, ensure that, okay, you have a old number they're using before you register them, you have a friend. If you cannot get the line back, it is better you go to your bank, update your bank record. Anywhere you've submitted the line, ensure that you tell your friend that, okay, I'm not using this line again, I've changed my phone number and all of that. So because of our system in Nigeria, things are very difficult. If you want to register a number, maybe collect your SIM card in places where things are working, all you need is your social security number, and they can do a welcome back for you very easily. And for the second question, I hope I've answered that. So the second question, security documentation, which has to do, I will start with policy. In every organization, there must be what we call information security management system policy. If there is no policy, people will not be able. But the best thing we can do, the best way I will answer this question is that every organization which is recommended, no matter how small or big, every organization should implement ISO 27001. As this ISO implementation, even though you might not get the certification, maybe because of money or whatever, but if you can implement it, get the document and implement it, it's from A to Z. It's like a best practice, what we pass as best practice. Just like they said in project management that the PMP book does not say that you follow everything, but at the same time, if you follow the best practices, the processes, you will be able to, you have a successful project. So if you implement ISO 27001 to details, you will discover that so many issues with regard to information security, cyber security will be eliminated. So I would recommend that in every organization, and management need to spearhead the process, That's the issue we usually have in cybersecurity and information security. We usually have is for IT people. These are people have come with their wallet. They've come, like my organization where I work for, where we implemented two multi-factor authentication that you have to receive phone number, you have to be called. If you log in with a new system, you have to validate your email. A lot of people were against it. Oh, we can't do this. These IT people have come again. But if the management, leadership of the organization drive the process, it becomes very easy for the organization. So I will recommend, for Larry's question, I will recommend the implementation of information security management system as embedded or put in place in ISO 27001. So that we help the organization to document all the processes and ensure that all the processes are in place and the organization is secure from end to end, and it also involve continuous service improvement. Thank you.
Yeah,
Sorry,
thank
guys.
you.
Sorry, guys. This is Henry. Apologies, I'll need to take my exit right now. It's been a very enlightening session that we had. Thank you, Mr. Ojo, for the presentation. I need to start heading home right now, so please bear with me.
Yeah, that's fine. I think we are running up already, you know, so in fact, it's already 9:20 now. Already, we have spent 8 minutes extra. So I think we're just rounding up now. I'm not sure anybody have any other question. You know, I think even if you have any question, maybe I'll suggest we take this to our group and continue chatting there so that we can close this session. You know, so just to round up, you know, the importance of cyber security, you know, the knowledge you are getting, you know, can never be, as project managers, can never be overemphasized. You know, because one is we don't want, even though we're like, okay, we are project managers, if we are even considering of lots of information, and we don't want that to, we don't want our project to be the weak link, you know, in our organization. You know, we don't want to be the project manager that open the company to threat, you know, because we are the CEO of our project that we are managing, you know, so we take lots of responsibilities and all. So it's important that we are aware of what's happening in our surroundings, you know, and I think Ojo has done justice to it, you know, so we give it to you, Ojo. Thank you very, very much for it. We really appreciate your time. And
you're welcome, sir.
Yeah. So in the absence of any other questions or comments, I think we can call it a night. What do you guys think?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very, very much, guys.
Thank you,
everybody. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Benga, for the platform.
The slide with us, right?
Okay, I will send it to Benga. I think he has everyone's contact, and he will now distribute to us.
Sure, that's cool.
Thank you. Thanks for